What's up, YouTube? Happy Good Friday. All right, so I got off early, but I kind of didn't get off early because by the time I did everything I need to do, I didn't get home any sooner than I would have. So, because I stopped and bought some fuel line, made a little progress there. I'll show you that shortly. I'm getting ready to mess with this distributor. I'm going to show you something. I seen this on another video. I'm sure anybody that's watching this video has probably seen his video. I'm going to try to figure out how to tag those in the comments because I'm not really sure how to do that. I'll mess with it some. If you see it down there, great. If you don't, I'm sorry. Just pay attention because I'm going to show you the part numbers and parts that I'm using. I'm going to convert this distributor, whatever, Duraspark distributor to the smaller head, and it uses a international cap, and then it just uses a earlier model rotor button. So let's go ahead and do that. First things first, pull your cap off, which this is already off. I pulled my rotor button off. You just flip these springs out here, take your adapter off. Now that you got that adapter off, no, I'm kidding. You better hang on to that. So like I said, don't throw away your old parts. So apparently LMR's distributor is machined different, and that will not work. What a bummer. Well, I've got another one over here. I'm gonna try it. All right, so I got my fuel line done, and it's not rubbing anything. It might look like it is, but it runs around the carburetor. Like I said, we're about 10 feet of fuel line just to get to the carburetor. But that's done. And all I gotta do is just take these loose right here, pop the carburetor off, she'll stay stationary, set the carburetor on, tighten my fuel lines and back up. It's gonna work out just fine. Now, if anybody's wondering how I did this fuel pressure gauge, that is a 5/8 18 inverted flare block, a T. And I had to make an adapter to accept that fuel. This ain't the end of this video, but I'm kind of gonna make a quick plan for what I'm gonna do in the morning and all day tomorrow. Get some kind of a plan together. I'm gonna get these things ready for the front wheels too. I'm gonna try to get everything done underneath, get ready for the front wheels. Let's get it on the ground. It's a lot easier for me to work on this car with it on the ground, me trying to lean over this thing. Because not only am I short, I'm fat. So not only can I not reach it, I push myself away from the car. I get this transmission out of the way. Do something with it. I'm gonna get it. The old dry shaft wouldn't use. Actually, Dan is gonna get this transmission and the dry shaft because he needs a dry shaft. It's about 3/4 to 1 inch longer than the T5 one. And he's running the C4 in his car. But yeah, we're getting very close. Good morning, YouTube. Another day. And Macy's in here with me today. I got the doors open, so she's gonna be in and out. All right, so what we got some mail yesterday, and I got something I want to show you. Some of you guys may appreciate it, some of you may not. I did a little research looking for this. You know, about an hour till I found it. So let me show you what we got going on here. I want my glasses. All right, if you've got these valve covers, you kind of know the pains of dealing with putting a cap on and off these things. But I found these extensions. And it also converts it to the 1.25 inch push-in. This is the part number. These are for from Scott Drake. It says 64 to 73 breather cap adapter. So you just take this thing. Well, you know how that works. Twist it in there. Take your rubber grommet. Push it in there. All right, so I got some mixed matched things on there, but that's gonna be good enough for it to run. I said before, this is a mock-up carburetor. It's even got an ear broke off one side of it. I'm just using this for mock-up because it's got the 2 metering blocks on it. You know, obviously, some don't have this metering block. They have a fixed metering block. It brings the bowl in closer, shortens the distance between the dual line. My original plan, the 670 Avenger, and I've got it on the bench with the rebuild kit. And I'm gonna get that rebuilt. I'm gonna try to get this side done, get the brakes on and everything, get everything tightened up completely. And now notice here, see how it's rusted. I put this in a glass bead machine, and that's what I got left. Notice that the holes above the castle nut, I believe I'm going to have to get me a washer and put under that to raise it up, so I can make that cotter pin be effective. Let me get back to business here. I spent most of the morning goofing off trying to figure out something with the distributor here. I'm just gonna have to live with the bigger cap for now. We'll get derailed for a minute. I picked this motor up the other day. It came with the intake and the carburetor. Not on board with the carburetor 100%. But decent intake. The 8011 wine, it's a decent intake. Let's see here. I'm gonna take it off. But now this is an Explorer motor, P motor. Now I turned it over, but by hand, and it was just me grabbing a hold of this, turning it over. It's pretty tight. You can really hear the air rushing out the valves, spark plug holes, whatever. I really didn't want to take the heads off this motor. I wanted this to be a quick cleanup and take off, but honestly, where this bolt's broke off, I don't think I can get it out. So I will end up removing the heads on this. That being said, they will get resurfaced. I'll put new valve springs on it. Well, actually, I'll check them to see if they need resurfaced, but I'll put new valve springs in it. Stick this in that light blue 86 out there just for a quick turnaround. So this is going to be a gasket deal. Head resurface. I'm gonna order some valve springs from Alex's Parts, throw an F-cam in it. I will probably use this intake. I actually kind of like the way it looks. It's already the right size for the coolant passage. And I've got a of course I got my sensor up here for the temperature, but I also got one here in the back, so I can run my gauge back here. It looks a little cleaner than running your sensor up here. Yeah, absolutely. This was a good find for me. It wasn't cheap. Yeah, I just got news for you. You're gonna pay 400 bucks for a motor these days, especially an Explorer motor. And when somebody takes one apart, for some reason it's worth $6. I don't get it. So, but anyway, this is where we're at with it. I had to get this inside. It looks like it's getting ready to rain, and I've actually got one more motor out there to get inside, so bear with me. All right, so I just brought the second engine in we picked up the other day. Now I took this intake just to cover the lifter valley up. Interesting engine. This is supposedly of an 83. Notice the block is machined for the dipstick. First one I've ever seen with a two-piece rear main seal. I've never seen that. Usually I see something different. So I'm hoping it's a 50-ounce balanced motor. Hoping. It's gonna be hard for me to tell. I'll have to get the numbers off the crankshaft. I am gonna take it apart because clearly it oily, but I'm almost afraid this might be a 255. So I'm afraid it's not even a 5.0. All right, so I started on the rebuild of this carburetor here. I actually started taking it apart a long time ago. But let me show you something. The fella I bought off of said it was rebuilt, and he said that he could never make it run right. It looks like it's gotten hot. Then I pull it over and I look here. Looks kind of strange. I pull it over here and I look. I notice it looks kind of like black on those corner holes right here. I don't know if it'll, right there. When you look here, it definitely looks like she's backfired. Big time. I would say he toasted the power valve on this thing. As you can see, that's, I don't know what, that just looks like a pure backfire to me. Several of them, as a matter of fact. So we're gonna clean this thing up, put all new gaskets in it, and assemble it back together and get ready for this car. It does have the reusable gaskets on it that we're definitely not gonna reuse. But I'm gonna take this power valve out here. I think this right here was the whole problem. All right, I'm gonna do something that I don't recommend anybody doing. I'm gonna enlarge these holes a little bit for the carburetor base. I'm gonna tell you why. Those holes were stripped out and I drilled them and put steel inserts in them. They're not exactly square. Like, you can slide it on there, but it's really tight and it's a pain to get it off. You gotta work each corner. So I'm opening it up just a little bit. But that's why I'm doing it. The whole deal, I mean, I've got a drill press, I've got a good flat surface. I'm able to adjust it to where, you know, I can drill whatever I need to drill. But like I said, I don't recommend this. After I do this, I'm gonna do a final cleaning on it. Then we're moving on to the main body. Well, this has turned out to be one of the nastiest carburetors I've ever tried to clean. I've used brake cleaner and carburetor cleaner. It's so sooted up inside. I've actually, first I soaked it with some Kroll penetrating oil to try to loosen it up. Now I've got it soaking in some Crown spray power. And then hopefully we can blast it off with carburetor cleaner after that, but it was pretty nasty. Then we can get it back together, get it on this car. I'm actually working on the throttle cable bracket, and turn spring. I've kind of cut the top of it off. I'm gonna round that off. And I'm actually gonna mount, so where the throttle bracket mounts on the back, underneath of it, I'm gonna put a bracket for the spring. Good morning, YouTube. Happy Easter. Today's Easter Sunday. Now, I'm not working today, but I just come down here real quick to give you a recap of what was going on. Now, yesterday, made pretty good progress. I didn't absolutely do anything that I said I was wanting to do that day. But outside of that, I got, you know, I still got stuff done. I did get a couple things done that I wanted to do. But anyway, let me show you what we got done Saturday. Now, I didn't get the exhaust on. That was my big thing that I wanted to do, and I just, you know, ran out of time, had some distractions. But outside of that, I'm getting closer. Just slowly but surely, you know. May not look like much progress, but it's coming along. So let me show you what we got done. All right, got these two hoses on. I know, huge deal, right? Fuel lines are tight. Now I did get some new fuel gauges. I was going to put a liquid filled fuel gauge in this, but I can't help it. When you just walk up to it and you see that white gauge, it kind of pops with the white car. Now, if you'll notice, shiny carburetor. I still got to work on it. I'm actually going to paint this. I'm going to glass bead it, etch it, prime it, and I'm probably going to paint it black. I'm thinking about ordering a new throttle cable because this is actually for a 2-barrel. And it has a little extra length on it. And I'm thinking about, you know, it looks kind of rough. So I'm thinking about ordering a new one. But now, as far as this getting painted, new throttle cable, that's going to be post first cruise in. Now, you'll notice there's a shiny carburetor, like I said. I spent about 4 hours rebuilding this carburetor. And I couldn't tell if there was much wrong with it other than it was probably the nastiest carburetor I've ever seen. It literally was full of like soot. And carburetor cleaner wasn't cutting it, brake cleaner wasn't cutting it. So I was soaking it with Kroll penetrating oil. And then I was also soaking it with Crown spray power. and the body and the meter, a couple metering devices. And I mean, I spent a couple hours letting them soak. But other than that, she turned out good. I'm anxious to get gas in it. Now, one thing that upset me is it did not come with a diaphragm for this. And when I took it apart thinking I had a diaphragm, it ended up tearing it. So this is actually off another Avenger carburetor. Now, the issue I'm going to run into here, which I'm going to have to make, the way this is made, my bracket to hold my choke cable won't fit on this. So I've got to make something, which, I've got the one that's supposed to go on there so I can use it for design. And once I get that on there, I'll get my choke cable hooked up. I'm going to move my water. I'm going to put a plug right here. I'm going to move my water temperature sensor down there. I think it'll fit. I'm actually getting ready to go out in the building and get my exhaust, the H-pipe and stuff, and the flow tubes. I'm going to slide under the car, set it up with jack stands to hold it in place, see what size bolts I need to bolt it to the headers. I believe they're going to be 7/16. And, but like I said, I'm not doing that. I'm going to sit under there, but I'm not working today. I'm just trying to get an idea because tomorrow, whenever I go to work, I'll go out and get some bolts that I need to finish that up. Brake line's hooked up, rotor's on, all that good stuff, cleaned, greased. I put the end links on both sides. I still gotta bolt my sway bar in, but I'm still planning on washing it and all that stuff. But we're getting closer and closer and closer. So I'm very eager and anxious to hear this thing fire up. And like I said, just pray that it's a good motor. And I had it all the way down to just the rods and pistons and crank, and it turned over fine. I didn't see nothing that would make me think there was going to be an issue. But let's just hope and pray that everything works out good. So yeah, I think I did tell you about this. Just I picked up a couple engines, and I'm actually inquiring about one more. This one's going to go in the blue 86 coupe out there. I got this one as a spare for that 85 convertible out there, or that 79 cream colored car out there. Now, if I happen to get this other motor I'm looking at, 100% that's going to go in that cream colored car. And I'm looking at an F-150 motor, and I'm going to use it for probably the convertible out there. And I'm telling you, I just can't wait to get started on this old bad boy right here. Man, that car's gonna be fun. Probably gonna be my main cruiser. What'd they get in the mail here? I kind of condensed it. Got my adapter for my new steering wheel that should be here tomorrow. Now I got one of these to screw in a gauge for a test port. And I was actually going to put this on this car, but like I said, I had to use rubber hoses. And I bought some liquid filled, shot-proof fuel pressure gauges. I bought a couple of them. And I was going to put one of these on this car, but man, I really like the white. But that don't look too bad. But actually, I like the Mr. Gasket logo. It just kind of looks old school. I know it's just cheap stuff, but I kind of like it. But anyway, that's what I've gotten done. And thanks for hanging out with me. So that's it for Easter for me, guys. Thank you very much for hanging out. I hope you're hanging out with your family. Just remember what the day is for. Ladies, gentlemen, happy motoring.